Welcome to this Killick Explains short series on financial mistakes. There are 3 parts to this series, and unsurprisingly I'm going to start with the growing up phase. Then there'll be what I've loosely called middle age, and then there'll be the getting older phase. So let's start with the upsides. Being young is fantastic in many ways. You've got lots of energy, you've got freedom, generally speaking, and you've got choices about where you work, how hard you work, what kind of relationship you have, if any, where you live, and so on. But there are downsides. There are downsides to every phase of life. That's life. One of them is a lot of young people carry debt, student loans, personal loans, even loans from the bank of mum and dad, for example. The challenge of buying a first property is considerable. A lot of people want to get onto the property ladder, but it is no easier, arguably harder than it ever was. And a lot of young people travel, hopefully, with almost zero savings. So what I want to suggest in this video is this isn't an entire roadmap for being young, but I want to suggest there are 3 mistakes to try and avoid if you can. Easier said than done, but they are worthwhile. They pay back later. One is a jam today mindset. The second is not setting any goals at all. And the third is having no savings. So the jam today mindset, essentially it's easy to spend money. It's much less easy to accumulate it. And the problem is, yes, you can borrow it. Yes, there are student loans, which you may have had no choice about, personal loans and so on. But at some point, you need to get into a pattern where you're earning more than you spend. All right. In other words, the way to think about it is you're enjoying yourself today, and it's important to enjoy being young, but what about your future self? Will you thank yourself in 10 years or 20 years time? And it's difficult to visualize that when you look backwards. If you met the younger you, would you shake it by the hand and say, great, good work, you set me up a treat? Or would you be kind of going, what on earth were you playing at? And the one massive free lunch that you have as a young person is time. You've got the ability to take advantage of what's called compounding, the ability to build over time, and that's kind of a one-way street. The amount of time left to all of us, unfortunately, does reduce. So bear that in mind. Number 2 is having no goals. Now, I can see my kids sort of drifting off when I say this. Why do I need goals? Why can't I just enjoy myself, have fun? And it is easy to drift as a young person and rely too heavily on luck. And also not really, which is fair enough, to have a picture of what success actually looks like, a roadmap to success. But I mean, I could quote 1 or 2 cliches at you here, one of them being the harder I work, the luckier I get. What I would say is, while you're young, build, compound skills like you compound growth in investments or you compound early savings. In other words, build as many skills as you can, work as hard as you can, and reduce your reliance on luck and pure opportunity. So in other words, have a vision of what success looks like for you in, say, 10 years' time. Not saying what that vision is, but it's better to have one. And thirdly, don't ignore saving. Now, a lot of young people say to me, I can't save, but actually the moment you start earning an income, there's a possibility just to squeeze out even a tiny amount of savings, because the point is, time is your friend as somebody with ages on their side. Compound growth is earning interest on interest, earning money on money by letting it grow. All right, so the rule of 72, by the way, is a quick illustration as to how powerful this can be. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you could achieve 8% growth annually. All right, now it's not guaranteed, it's purely for illustration. If you divide 72 by that number, you get 9. What that tells you is you could double your money in just 9 years. So even a small sum, doubling over a relatively short time period, and that sounds like a long time when you're young, is worth thinking about. And don't forget, it's harder to catch up later. People say, I'll wait till my 40s and 50s when I'm a sensible person. I'm coming onto the sensible middle-age bracket in a moment in the next video. I'll wait and then I'll catch up. But actually the way that compound growth works is it's much harder to catch up later. If you can just save even a small amount young, you'll be doing yourself a huge favor later. Okay, there you have it. So other places you could go, apart from videos 2 and 3 for more information, are at killick.com/resources. That's Killick Explains videos. That's Confidant, our quarterly flagship magazine, and of course, copies of my how-to guides, which explain some of the stuff I've just been rattling on about in a bit more depth.